स्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। ॐ नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं दैवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरये। गीता ध्यान श्लोकास् टुगेदर। ॐ पार्थाय प्रतिबोधितां भगवता नारायणेन स्वयं व्यासेन ग्रथितां पुराणमुनिना मध्ये महाभारतम् अद्वैतामृतवर्षिणीं भगवतीम् अष्टादशाध्यायिनीम् अम्ब त्वामनुसन्दधामि भगवद्गीते भवद्वेषिणी। नमोऽस्तु ते व्यासविशालबुद्धे पुल्लारविन्दायतपत्रनेत्र येन त्वया भारततैलपूर्णः प्रज्वालितो ज्ञानमयप्रदीपः प्रपन्नपारिजाताय स्तोत्रवेत्रैकपाणये ज्ञानमुद्राय कृष्णाय गीतामृतदुहे नमः। सर्वोपनिषदो गावः दुग्धा गोपालनन्दनः पार्थो वत्सः सुधीर्भोक्ता दुग्धं गीतामृतं महत्। वसुदेवसुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुम्। भीष्मद्रोणतटा जयद्रथजला गान्धारनीलोत्पला सन्ध्यग्राहवती कृपेण वहनी कर्णेन वेलाकुला अश्वत्थामविकर्णघोरमकरा दुर्योधनावर्तिनी सोतीर्णा खलु पाण्डवैरणनदी कैवर्तकः केशवः पाराशर्यवचः सरोजममलम् गीतार्थगन्धोत्कटम् नानाख्यानककेसरं हरिकथा सम्बोधनाबोधितम् लोके सज्जन षट्पदैरहरहः पेपीयमानं मुदा भूयात् भारत पंकजं करिमल प्रध्वंसिनः श्रेयसे। मूकं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपादमहं वन्दे परमानन्दमाधवम्। यं ब्रह्मा वरुणेन्द्ररुद्रमरुतः स्तुन्वन्ति दिव्यैस्तवैः वेदैः साङ्गपदक्रमोपनिषदैः गायन्ति यं सामगाः ध्यानावस्थिततद्गतेन मनसा पश्यन्ति यं योगिनः यस्यान्तं न विदुः सुरासुरगणाः देवाय तस्मै नमः. So welcome back to our series of talks on the Bhagavad Gita. We have covered the context of the Gita up to the 10th verse of chapter 2. So, what is the central theme or teachings of the Bhagavad Gita? It is in one word, Swadharma. Performance of one's Swadharma is to do what is to be done by me at this time and place. So this is the teaching which paves the way for the goal, and the goal is moksha prapti. So Bhagavad Gita is really a moksha shastra, but it shows us the way of life. Now, what do we mean by Swadharma? It is not something isolated that is just my role and my part, because dharma is something which we are all interconnected. The root in the word dharma is dhr, dharayati iti dharma. That which connects everyone, which is like the glue, the social fabric. And that is why we have Stri Dharma, Purusha Dharma, Samanya Dharma, Vishesha Dharma, Rashtra Dharma. So many versions are there. All have the same purpose, and that is to promote the harmony. Imagine if the sun did not perform the cosmic duty and took a vacation, or the moon and the earth did not spin, or even the law of gravity is a dharma for our planet Earth. If that stopped functioning, then the whole order would collapse. Yeah. So we see that Sri Krishna is going to explain in great detail in chapter 3, Karma Yoga chapter, how the universe is like a Maha cosmic yajna, where all the jivas are as though doing arpanam through their swadharmas. Or another analogy given is a cosmic machinery. So if everyone does his or her part perfectly, then the machinery, runs smoothly without any friction. But today, what are we seeing? People, we are moving away from that duty-based system to right-based system. No? So, but we know that once a duty is performed, the rights are also automatically ensured. So we found that Arjuna is unable to perform his Swadharma, which is the Kshatriya Dharma, to uphold the law and order situation, while he experiences shoka, deep sorrow, due to raga, attachment to his near and dear ones, and that has led to moha. Moha is delusion, which clouds his intellect. And he's drowning in despondency. He's feeling very helpless and argues, Krishna, how can I kill my gurus and my elders? How can you call this my swadharma? This is adharma. And he goes on arguing. What does Krishna do? We saw in the beginning of chapter 2. It says, Klaibya mas magaha partha naitatva yupapadyate kshudram hridaya daurbhalyam takpo tishtaparantapa. Do not yield to unmanliness. Yeah. What is this weakness of the heart? And you cannot show your compassion at this point in time. It is misplaced. Yeah. And at this crucial juncture, when you have to be the commander and role model, and others are looking up at you as you are the trump card, you cannot retreat. And Arjuna does not retreat or escape. He just remains there. And then what does Arjuna do? He does a very intelligent thing, and that is he surrenders to Krishna, who is not only his Sakha and also his Parthasarathi, but now he says, I am your student. Karpanya dosho pahata svabhavaha dharma sammuda chetaha yat shreyasyat nishchitam bruhi tatme shishyasteham shadhimam tvam prapannam. Says Krishna, I'm confused between dharma and adharma. What is to be done? What is not to be done? And I'm overwhelmed by this wave of compassion. Yeah. You tell me what is Shreyas. Shreyas is a beautiful word. We saw that, which means moksha. So Shreyas is the ultimate good for anyone. You tell me, Krishna, what is Shreyas, and I am your Shishya. Then who is narrating all this? Sanjay. So Sanjay is narrating to the blind king Dhritarashtra back in the palace in Hastinapura that now finally Krishna smiles. Prahasanniva Bharata tam uvacha. And Krishna smiles. Why does Krishna smile? Because he's been waiting for this moment. Yeah, when will Arjuna ask? And it is said that only when somebody chooses to know should knowledge be given. So when a Shishya is born, the Guru automatically appears. Gurus are plenty, but where are the Shishyas? So Krishna smiles because it's a smile of assurance. Arjuna, Ma Shichaha, there is a solution. You are actually grieving for something which is not to be grieved for. Yeah, that is going to come now next. So Krishna is now ready to begin the teachings with verse number 11 of the chapter 2. And chapter 2 is called Sankhya Yoga. Sankhya means knowledge. Now, if you ask what is the cause for samsara in the world, no? Gita says it is ignorance. Ignorance of the realities. Yeah? Ignorance of the realities, ignorance of my true identity, leading to raga and shoka and moha. So Krishna is right away going to administer the medicine, the highest wisdom in the form of Brahma Vidya or Atma Jnanam or self-knowledge. So that is why we say the Gita opens with a bang. Yeah. Now, for those who have already studied the Gita, this will be a very good revision. It will be very familiar, the shlokas. But for those who are, hearing it for the first time, the verses may appear abstract and heavy and non-relatable. So we advise them to have an open mind and to be patient because Krishna is going to enter into a lot of details and unfold these capsule-like verses in the chapters to follow. So these verses from 11 to 25 contain the essence of the Upanishads, and it is called the core Vedanta. And so now let us go to verse number 11. Ashocyananvashocastvam प्रज्ञावादांश्च भाषसे गतासून गतासूंश्च नानुशोचन्ति पंडिताः श्रीभगवानुवाच अशोच्यानन्वशोचस्त्वं प्रज्ञावादांश्च भाषसे गतासून गतासूंश्च नानुशोचन्ति पंडिताः. Verse 11 is the start of the Gita Padesha and also for which Adi Shankaracharya starts the Bhashyam. No, the famous Gita Bhashyam by Adi Shankaracharya begins with this verse. So Sri Bhagavan Uvacha. And how does Bhagavan begin? Bhagavan says there is no legitimate cause for sorrow in the world. That is, there is no valid reason for sorrow in the world. This is what Krishna is going to unfold. But everybody is suffering. So here Krishna says, Ashocyanan. Ashocyanan. Anvashochaha. Ashocyan. Yeah, Ashocyan. Then Anvashochaha tvam. Tvam anvashochaha means you are grieving. Prajnavadan cha bhashase. And Arjuna, you are speaking as a very wise person. Yeah. So, Ashocyan. Ashocyan means non-grievable. Then Anvashochaha is the verb. Tvam. O Arjuna, you are grieving for something that does not deserve grief. Ashocyan. And yet, Prajnavans cha bhashase. You are speaking words of wisdom. Remember chapter 1. Arjuna was giving the discourse and Krishna was listening. Arjuna said, how can you call this dharma yuddha? You know, the social order will collapse and children will be fatherless and this massive destruction. How can it be of any good? So that is what Krishna says here. Prajnavadanscha bhashase. Then Krishna says, Gatasoon, agatasoonscha na anushochanti panditaha. Na anushochanti means do not grieve. See, shoka, what is really shoka? So, the difference is pointed out. Dukkham. Dukkham is, if you call it physical pain, is it avoidable? No, it is inevitable. Our prarabdha is going to bring about situations which will bring some discomfort at the physical level. But shoka is the emotional pain, that lamentation, that clinging, that brooding, you know, that regretting, on and on, that build up in the mind. Is that avoidable? Yes, that is avoidable. So there is a difference between the physical dukkham and the emotional dukkham. That emotional dukkham is what the Gita is going to address, not the physical pain. So Krishna says, your cause, the cause for sorrow, is there a valid cause for sorrow? Does the world causes grief or any person or any event or any situation? This is what Krishna is wanting us to examine and question. Yeah. Now, Tvam Anvashochaha. Who is Tvam here? Arjuna or the Jiva. You and me. All of us. Yeah. So, we are all also being addressed through Arjuna. Arjuna, you are grieving for something that does not deserve grief. But look at the Panditaha. Who are the Panditas? Panda asya asti iti Pandita. Who have Panda. Panda means Jnanam. Who have the solid Jnanam. What Jnanam? Atma Jnanam. And what do? Na anushochanti. They never grieve for anything in the world. Neither gatasoon nor agatasoon. Gatasoon means who have departed, who have breathed their last. You know, death. Death, when it happens, when we read in the news or when it happens in our circle, it does evoke sorrow. Yeah. And we see that sorrow happens to everyone, whether we are educated, qualified, or illiterate, you know, or religious or non-religious. Yeah. Whether we are Hindu or belonging to other religions. Yeah. Wealthy or poor. Sorrow is common to everybody. And so, but here Krishna is saying that examine that sorrow. Is it really centered on that external event and the world? Or it is to do with one's perception, how I am choosing to view a certain event. What is causing Arjuna's sorrow? He is imagining the loss of Bhishma and Drona. And that imagined loss is causing him shock. It has not yet happened. The war is yet to begin. And he is sunk into sorrow. So, here, you know, the Shastras point out what is exactly meant by Ashocyan. Ashocyan means that which does not deserve shoka, sorrow. For example, rain. No? Now, rain is welcomed by some people. The farmers will welcome it because they will get a good crop. But somebody who has arranged an auspicious wedding, they will not look forward to rain. Yeah. So the same event will have different reactions. Or let's say a girl child is born. Parents are very happy, but grandparents are disappointed. They expected a male child maybe. And one person is happily separated from the woman because their relationship could not continue. Another person is looking forward to marrying the same woman. Yeah. So happiness and sorrow is centered on the mind and not really on the world. So Krishna wants to point out that I am the problem and I am the solution. Yeah. And so then Krishna is going to continue and say that unfold the nature of Atma and Anatma. What is born is subject to change and will perish, decay, and decline. Yeah. Will your sorrow prevent that? Some situation has happened. Yeah. A loss maybe. By being sorrowful, can we remedy that situation? No. Yeah. But what is causing sorrow? Non-acceptance, denial. Yeah. Then Atma Tattvam, Krishna is going to unfold. Atma Tattvam has, no birth and no death. Can Atma be the cause for sorrow? No, again, because Atma is Ananda Sarupaha. Yeah, it is all Anandam. So finally what? Nothing can be a reason for sorrow. And yet, when an event happens, we do offer condolences. I'm sorry for your loss. That's perfectly all right. Gita is not telling us don't be sad or it is improper to be sad. It is only pointing out that there is no valid reason for sadness. Yeah, that is the only point here. अशोच्यानन्वशोचस्त्वं प्रज्ञावादांश्च भाषसे गतासून गतासूंश्च नानुशोचन्ति पण्डिताः. So the panditaha are the jnanis, the tattvadarshis. So they do not grieve for gatasoon, departed, and agatasoon, who are alive. Yeah, for anything they will not grieve because they are anchored in this wisdom. So this is the 11th shloka. Let's go to the 12th one. Nattvevaham jatu nasam. Natvam neme janadhipaha. न चैव न भविष्यामः सर्वे वयमतः परम् न त्वेवाहं जातु नासं न त्वं नेमे जनाधिपाः न चैव न भविष्यामः सर्वे वयमतः परम्. So there are some verses, which will have double negatives. Yeah. Now, Mahabharata, you all know, was composed by Vyasacharya. So it used to be even more than 100,000 verses, no? So about 1 lakh. And so Vyasacharya, it is heard, that was looking for somebody to write those verses on the palm leaves. And who offered to help? Ganesha. Ganesha offers to help. But then Vyasacharya has a condition. And Ganesha also. Ganesha says, I am ready to be a stenographer, provided Vyasacharya, you should not stop reciting. You should continue and not pause anywhere. Fine. Then Vyasacharya says, even I have a condition. That is, you should understand every verse before writing it on the palm leaves. So here and there, Vyasacharya would compose a cryptic, enigmatic verses, difficult to decode. Imagine, even for Ganesha had to pause for a moment or two. And that gave Vyasacharya time to compose a few more verses. Yeah, some breathing space. So this verse is somewhat enigmatic. Let us look at it. Natu eva aham jatu na asam na tvam na ime janadhipaha. Okay, let's do the first line. So now Krishna is talking about Atma Tattvam in this verse. No? He says, there was never a time, Arjuna, when you were not there, I was not there, and all these Janadipas, these great Maharathis and warriors, Duryodhana, Bhishma, Drona, Kripa, they were not there. Double negative. That means they were always there. Second line, Nacha eva na bhavishyamaha sarve vayam atah param. Okay, you know, in the past we were not there. What about future? Future, maybe we cease to exist? No. Nacha eva na bhavishyamaha sarve vayam ataha param. Yeah. So, this is a beautiful verse which says that Krishna is talking about the vision of the Upanishads. Yeah. Now, we all, what do we think about ourselves? I was born in the 60s, 70s. I have a date of birth certificate, Aadhaar card, horoscope to prove it. Yeah. And I've crossed so many decades. Now I'm a super senior citizen. I'm aging. And this is my, resume. But now Krishna says that you always existed. Krishna, I also existed. And Duryodhana, Bhishma, Drona, they always existed. Not only in the past, they are there even now and they will continue to be. So this is clearly Krishna is talking about the birthless, deathless Atma in this verse. Yeah. And that Atma is Ekaha. Atma is Ekaha like space. No? But we divide the space into bedroom space, kitchen space, garden space. No? So bodies are Anekaha. Bodies are Anatma, Anekaha, but Atma is Ekaha. So here Krishna is giving the vision of the Gita that Arjuna, you cannot kill Bhishma and Drona or anybody for that matter. Because your Atma, Bhishma's Atma, Drona's Atma, Duryodhana's Atma, it's all Nitya Vastu, eternal. Nityam, birthless, deathless. No weapons can kill that Atma Tattvam. But then what gets killed? Bodies. Yeah? The body is born. Yeah. So our mothers gave birth to what? Not me, the jiva, but the physical body, the nama rupa, yeah, the upadhi, yeah, that is the anatma bodies. And that anatma body is subject to time. It is called drishta nashta svabhavaha. That is, it is constantly changing, isn't it? The hair is graying, skin is changing, yeah. All constant changing and nobody can stop it. No amount of sorrow can prevent it. So why are you grieving for Anatma, Arjuna? And as Atma, you are Nityam. Again, Atma cannot be the cause for sorrow. Anatma also cannot be the cause for sorrow. And that is why Panditaha na Anushochanti. Because everything is Ashocyan. Ashocha is not deserving grief. So clearly Krishna is pointing out that grief and sorrow can only result from moha and raga. Our attachments, our way of perception, and our expectations from the world around us. Okay? And so Arjuna, you cannot kill anyone. So don't, feel this guilt that you're going to destroy your revered elders and brothers and uncles and, brothers. That is not going to happen because in the vision of the Gita, you are Nityam, they are also Nityam, and you were, are, and will be, and that is true for everyone. So this is the grand vision of the Upanishads. Now let's go to the 13th shloka. Next. We'll chant it one more time. नत्वेवाहं चातुनासं न त्वं नेमे जनाधिपाः न चैव न भविष्यामः सर्वे वयमतः परम् देहिनोऽस्मिन् यथा देहे कौमारं यौवनं जरा देहिनोऽस्मिन् यथा देहे कौमारं यौवनं जरा तथा देहान्तरप्राप्तिः धीरस्तत्र न मुह्यते तथा देहान्तरप्राप्तिः धीरस्तत्र न मुह्यते Together. देहिनोऽस्मिन् यथा देहे कौमारं यौवनं जरा देहान्तरप्राप्तिः धीरस्तत्र न मुह्यते. And Krishna continues, देहिनः अस्मिन् यथा देहे कौमारं यौवनं जरा तथा देहान्तरप्राप्तिः धीरः तत्र न मुह्यते. Now, dehinaha. Dehinaha means for this dehi. Who is the dehi? The jiva, all of us. Yeah. Now, the dehi is called jivaha or shariri or the tenant who is living in this apartment which is leased out. Yeah, this body apartment. Who is connected with this body mind? I'm connected to my body and mind. So it's like I'm the tenant living in this apartment. That is the dehi or the jivaha or shariri. Dehinaha means shashti. For this dehi who is connected and associated with that upadhi, that body, mind, sense complex, asmin, in that body what? There will be the stages of life. Kaumaram, boyhood, childhood, yeah, before that infanthood, yes. Yeah, we're all born as infants, yeah, and then there are the developments happen. Kaumaram is childhood. Then Yauvanam, youth, very turbulent stage, yeah. Kaumaram is supposed to be a very delightful stage, no, for parents, yeah. Then Yauvanam, change, metamorphosis, yeah, the cycles begin, hormonal changes happen, the voice, skin, hair, everything will change. Yeah. Then Jara. But before Jara, other changes are there. Adulthood. Yeah. Then midlife is there. So many changes are happening. And all these are grouped in the Shadvikaras. Now the changes are happening to whom? The Dehi or the Deha? Deha. Only to the body. Whereas the Dehi is as though watching and witnessing all the changes. No? Don't I remember when I got my first gray hair? And all these bodily changes, who is witnessing that? Dehi. Yeah. And so the changes are happening to every Deha in every birth. And Jara, we all know. So all these are grouped into what is called Shadvikaras. No? Jayate, Asti, Vardhate, Viparinamate, Apakshiyate, Vinashyate. The sixfold changes, birth, growth, metamorphosis, decline, decay, finally, and going back to the source. We know that there is no destruction. What is death really? Somebody whom we have known as a manifest figure has become unmanifest. Yeah, merge back into the cause. So that is what Krishna is saying here, that for the Dehi, Asmin Dehe, in every body, for the Dehi, there are these changes. Kaumaram, yeah, the boyhood, then Yauvanam, youth, and Finally, Jara will be there, all these changes. Then what about after this life? Tatha Dehantara Praptihi. After gaining the next body, there also same changes will be there. Now, in the later chapters, we are going to see that how the mind travels. Yeah, the mind travels and the physical body is recycled back to nature. Yeah, in whatever way. It is buried or cremated, like that. So, Dehantara Prapti, when one life is over, Prarabdha is over, then the Jivatma will travel and get a new environment, new birth, new family, yeah, and be connected to that body. And in that body again, what? Infanthood, Kaumaram, Yauvanam, Jara, all these are going to happen. Now, through these changes that happen, don't I say, look at me, that's my photograph in the 10th grade. Then I graduated. Yeah, then I got this job. Then I married. I became a parent, then a grandparent, then I retired, and so on. So I'm able to say I. So there is a constancy throughout the change. Who or what is that changeless, constant, invariable presence? Atma. Yes. Atma, actually Jiva only. That is the Dehi, really. But because the Dehi is so strongly identified with the Deha, and that is the Moha, Krishna is going to point out. So here, what does the second line say? Tatha dehantara praptihi dhiraha tatra na mukhyati. So dhiraha means viveki. Viveki. Dhira is not the courageous one, but the one who is discriminating, who sees with a discerning eye that this body has been leased out for a certain number of years. Yeah, it is like an apartment which has to be vacated. It is anatma and its dharma is to change. Nobody can prevent it. Yeah. Of course, if we live a healthy life, we can, the quality of life will improve. Yeah. But prarabdha being what to say, who can prevent the prarabdha from happening? So, dhiraha, the one who has gained the clear discriminative knowledge between Atma Tattvam, who I really am, and Anatma body, which I have, yeah, which I possess. I'm not the owner of that also. I am a trustee. Yeah, I'm a trustee, which means I take good care of my Anatma body, Anatma mind, and then Tatra na muhyati. Such a wise person never gets deluded, Arjuna. So same thing, Dhiraha, we can connect to Panditaha of the previous verse. Panditaha na anushotanti, Dhiraha tatra na muhyati. Does not get deluded. So Krishna is saying here, Arjuna, where is the question of grief? Yeah, Krishna keeps reinforcing that point. Yeah, have you got clarity between Anatma bodies are many? They are perishable, they are changing, and Atma is one. Ekaha Atma, it is Nitya Vastu, it is imperishable, and neither of the two can be a cause for sorrow. Yeah, it is the Moha that is causing sorrow. But Panditaha na anushojanti, because they know the fact about both. What is the fact about Anatma bodies? Perishable, subject to Shatvikaras, Anityavastu, Agama Painaha, they arrive and they depart and reappear. Yeah, but Atma never arrives, never departs. It is here to stay. It was, is, will be. It is indestructible. So the one who knows these facts is a Dhiraha, and Dhiraha Tatra na Muhyati. So this is showing us that just like that movie screen, the movie screen on which the films are projected, all the scenes vary, but the screen remains untouched. So too the Dehi is a witness of all the changes that happen, not to the Dehi, but to the body. Yeah. So then, Trigevanata Drishyate. Yeah. So what is experienced, what I can witness, what I go through, I cannot be that. So all these prakriyas are there for us to develop that inner understanding, that space of clear understanding. Okay, let's go to the next one and chant this one more time. देहिनोऽस्मिन् यथा देहे कौमारं यौवनं जरा तदा देहान्तरप्राप्तिः धीरस्तत्र न मुह्यते. Now 14. Now Krishna is going to give us some very practical wisdom, wisdom on how to, accommodate these unpredictable changes in life. Yeah, how to deal with the constantly changing world situations. No? That is the next verse. Matra sparshastu kaunteya. Matra sparshastu kaunteya. Shitoshna sukha dukkadaha. Shitoshna sukha dukkadaha. Matra sparshastu kaunteya. Shitoshna sukha dukkadaha. Matra sparshastu kaunteya. Shitoshna sukha dukkadaha. Agama apayino nityaha. Tanti tikshasva bharata. Agama apayino nityaha. Tanti tikshasva bharata. Agama apayino nityaha. Tanti tikshasva bharata. Matra sparshastu kaunteya. शीतोष्ण सुख दुःखदाः आगमापायिनो नित्याः तांस्ति तिष्ठस्व भारत. मात्रा स्पर्शाः तु हे कौन्तेय शीत उष्ण सुख दुःखदाः आगमापायिनः अनित्याः तान् तितिक्षस्व हे भारत. So now very affectionately Krishna addresses Arjuna as Kaunteya. Kunti Putra, oh dear Kaunteya, Bharata, Matra Sparshaha tu Shitoshna Sukha Dukkadaha. Now Matra, the word Matra means sense organs. See that root Ma means to measure. Yeah. So through our sense organs we are measuring, isn't it, the content of input. So matra is another word for sense organs. So matra sparshaha. Sparshaha means sense objects. So matra sparshaha means the contact of the sense organs, that is eyes, ears, nose, tongue, skin, with the sense objects. Shabda sparsha rupa rasa gandha. 5. See how uniquely designed they are. One sense organ will connect only with one kind of sense objects. That is why it is said the body is pancha bhautikam and world is also pancha bhautikam. Pancha pancha. So matra sparshaha tu he kaunteya. What does this do? The contact between sense organs and sense objects. Shita, ushna, sukha, dukkha, dadati. Daha. So they will give rise to experiences of cold, shita, ushna, heat, sukham and dukkha. Hot chocolate, ushna, yeah, cold coffee, shita, yeah. Then some other winters, winters can give dukkham to somebody, yeah. And then summers can give sukham to others. So the experiences born of the contact, yeah, will give rise to a variety of experiences, pleasure, pain, and heat, cold. These are called the dvandvas, the pairs of opposites. Yeah, there are many more: gain, loss, yeah, victory, defeat, birth, death, separation, union, and so on. So that is the first line, and Krishna says that the contact of the sense organs with the sense objects give rise to a variety of experiences, sukham and dukham. And what about those experiences? They are agama payanaha. Yeah. Agama payanaha. You know, the great poet, one poet has said, if winter is here, can spring be far behind? That means what? The seasons, how beautifully they are recycled. The summer brings with it beautiful fruits, mangoes, and so on. The winter is time for hibernation and to conserve the energy. Then again, followed by spring, and all over again, eternally going round and round. That is called Agama Payanaha. So in our life also, you know, Sukham, Dukham, Kabhi Khushi, Kabhi Gham will keep coming. Yeah. And heat, cold, you know, all variety of experiences. Success, failure, gain, loss, and so on. That is called Agama Painaha. And then what else are there? Anityaha. No, are they here to stay? No. No, I told you all about that riddle question. You know, let me say it once again. You know, somebody was asked, a king asked a riddle. He said, there is a happy person and a sad person. Yeah. What is that one sentence that will make a happy person sad and a sad person happy? Yeah. So, what is that one sentence? The sentence is, even this will pass away. Yeah. Anityaha. That is, a happy person is enjoying a happy event. Maybe he became the grandparent, you know, or won the gold medal. Somebody won the gold medal. Yeah, or there was a huge profit in business. Happy event. But when he reads that even this will pass away, it means what? Any joy of any achievement is short-lived. It's experienced and then it's over. Yeah. Then the other side also, grief, a moment of grief and sorrow, a loss. You know, some bankruptcy happened, and that's a moment to grieve. Yeah. Again, when he reads the sentence, even this will pass away. That grief, moment of grief will also go away. Time is the greatest healer. So even this will pass away. This mantra will make any happy person sad and any sad person. This is what Krishna is saying here, that all these experiences born of the contact of sense organs and sense objects are agama painaha. They are arriving, but they will depart. So don't cling to them. Don't desire to prolong the happiness and don't lament about the dukkham. So this is why the wise people, their mantra is Yadeva Bhavati, Tadeva Mangalaya. Whatever happens, happens for the good. So even some negative situations happen, you know, in our life. Don't we become contemplative? You know, we feel we're closer to Ishvara, there's some lesson to be learned, we become wiser. And that's a positive result. Yeah. And happiness, it is said, debits our punyam actually. No, the punyam is debited through the happy situation. So then, how do we deal with such situations, O Bharata? Tan titikshasva, Krishna's advice. The beautiful word titiksha. Titiksha is translated as endurance or forbearance. To go through some discomfort cheerfully. Yeah. Cheerful acceptance of some discomfort is called titiksha. And so, because of the nature of any situation will pass away. And then, you know, there'll be better times ahead. So the Gita is really, you know, giving us a jnana kavacham. That is, it is not asking us not to be happy or sad. No. But what generally can happen, one can become so overjoyed that we go overboard, hit the ceiling. Or a situation can be so overwhelming that we get depressed and crash. So the opposites are to be avoided. How can I have that inner balance and a poised, you know, attitude that is meant here? Instead of a roller coaster, yo-yo ride in life. And so that is why the Panditas, they are anchored in this wisdom, and they have a balanced approach to life. Okay, a happy situation came. Thanks to Prarabdha, it has gone away. Then sad situation came. Again, Prarabdha, some papa is debited. That is also gone away. So it is all a play of Papa Punyam. So I welcome the flow of Prarabdha Karma, but I do not give more importance than what it deserves. And Krishna is again saying, don't let these external situations and the world affect the mind. Yeah, insulate the mind with this wisdom. So wear the goggles of Vedanta. And but what generally happens, we are looking at the world with our own raga and dvesha. I like this, I don't like that. This should not happen to me, this should happen to me. And that attracts grief. Yeah? But with this open mind insulated by this knowledge, then one can happily go through the life situations without getting very disturbed and anxious. Okay, let's chant the shloka again. Matra sparshastu kaunteya shitoshna sukha dukkadaha agama apayino nityaha tanti dikshasva bharata. 15 shloka is connected with the 14th one. Yam hina vyathayantyete Purusham Purusharshabha Yam hina vyathayanti te Purusham Purusharshabha Samadukha Sukham Dhiram Somritatvaya Kalpate Samadukha Sukham Dhiram Somritatvaya Kalpate Yam hina vyathayanti te Purusham Purusharshabha Yam hina vyathayanti ete Purusham he Purusharshabha. So what is the Sambodhana of Arjuna here? Purusharshabha, which means you are a bull, a Rishabha of all the humans. A bull stands out, doesn't it? It's a foremost. So Arjuna is also stands out amongst, in the Kuru clan as very sensitive, very compassionate, very skillful, competent, and ambidextrous. He could use both his hands equally well. So Krishna addresses as Purusharshabha. Yam Purusham ete na vyathayanti. Now, ete is a demonstrative pronoun which is referring to the previous shloka. That is, those situations, those ups and downs, highs and lows, na vyathayanti yam purusham. The one who is not affected by those situations. O Arjuna, and such a dhira purusha who is samam, who is balanced and poised in sukham and in dukkham. And how can that happen? Only when we have prasada buddhi. Yeah, prasada buddhi. That is, whatever happens, I receive it graciously, gracious acceptance. Yeah, instead of the mind reacting. Why me? What did I do to deserve the situation? Why should I do this? Yeah. But this dhira purusha is samadukha sukham. Samadukha sukham dhiram. Then what about this purushaha? Saha amritatvaya kalpate. Such a person with a steady, balanced, non-reacting mind alone is what? Kalpate, fit for amritatvam. Now, amritatvam word means moksha. Na amritam. So Namritam, in the sense, that is the freedom. That is the freedom, and Krishna is going to explain that Amritatvam is nothing but self-knowledge. Yeah, that Atma Tattvam, Atma Jnanam is Amritatvam, and Amritatvam is Mokshaha. Jnanameva Mokshaha. So Gita is, showing us how to gain a steady and balanced and pure mind first. Yeah, first by overcoming the raga dveshas. This is the teaching Krishna wants Arjuna to receive. Yeah, steadying Arjuna's mind, elevating Arjuna's mind, expanding it to show that Arjuna has to go beyond the attachments and the expectations and do what is to be done. That will steady the mind, and then Arjuna will be fit for Amritatvam. Yeah. Remember, Arjuna was even contemplating to take sannyasa. No, he said, "What about the fourth ashrama, Krishna? I am willing to live on bhiksha. I will sit under a tree, and anybody passerby will give some bhiksha, and that is good enough for me. But don't, ask me to enter this ghora karma." Yeah. Now, the Gita does not advocate violence or war, but the Gita gives the message of Swadharma. What is to be done is to be done. Because if Arjuna does not fight the war, then there will be a more adharma. Yeah, so that is the main reason here. So here, this shloka says that this dhira, he enjoys the samatvam. Then later Krishna is going to say samatvam yoga uchyate. Be a yogi, or Arjuna, have the inner balance and strengthen yourself by the titiksha endurance, and then you are fit for the goal of moksha. Next verse. Let's chant it one more time. Yam hina vyathayantyete purusham purusharshabha samadukha sukham dhiram somritattvaya kalpate. 60. नासतो विद्यते भावः नाभावो विद्यते सतः उभयोरपि दृष्टोऽन्तः त्वनयोस्तत्त्वदर्शिभिः नासतो विद्यते भावः नाभावो विद्यते सतः उभयोरपि दृष्टोऽन्तः त्वनयोस्तत्त्वदर्शिभिः. This is one of those enigmatic verses. Yeah, again double negative. Okay? Na asatah vidyate bhavah na abhavah vidyate satah ubhayo api drishtah antah tvanayoho tattva darshivihi. So now, what we have to remember is that any Vedanta Shastra, like the Bhagavad Gita, Upanishads, they only talk about two things. No? Dvau hi padarthau stha. What are they? Atma, Anatma. Yeah. So Atma is called Satyam. Yeah. What kind of Satyam? Paramarthika Satyam. Non-negatable Satyam. Krishna already just said that. Natvevaham jatunasam natvam neme janadipaha. Satyam that was, is, and will be. Non-negatable in the 3 periods of time is Atma. That is Satyam. So here Krishna says that na abhavaha vidyate sataha. For such an Atma, which is Satyam, there is no abhava. Abhava means non-existence. Yeah. So for that Atma, there is no non-existence, which means double negative. Atma always is there. Now, if you say, where is your Atma? Come on, show it. It is aprameyaha. It can be only known as the easeness. Yeah. Now Now, if I ask, are you there? What will you say? Yes, yeah. Do you have to switch on the light and then say I'm there, or ask somebody? No, that I am. I am. Amness is the Atma Tattvam that is very much there, non-negatable. That is Satyam. So Krishna says here, the second quarter, na abhava vidyate sataha. For that Satyam Atma, sataha, abhava nasti. There is no non-existence. Then let's come to the first quarter. The other entity is Anatma. Atma Satyam, Anatma Mithya. So there is another Satyam, that is Anatma. But what is the difference now? This Satyam is Agama Paina, comes and goes. Yeah? The body is born. We just saw that. Then Kaumaram, Yauvanam, Jara is there. It grows and changes. And then again, after the Prarabdha, it goes back to its cause. Again, it reappears as another body. Again, goes through the changes and again unmanifest. No? Avyaktam, Vyaktam, Avyaktam, Vyaktam, eternally it goes. So the first quarter, if this shloka says, Na asataha vidyate bhavaha. That asataha is the mithya anatma. So for anything that is mithya or anatma, there is no permanence. Bhavaha nasti. The first quarter. So double negative, we have to be careful. No? So here, yeah, all Krishna is saying is that Satyam Atma is permanent. Whereas Anatma Satyam, the relative Satyam, that is the relative nature of our bodies and the world and any situation, anything Anatma, it's a relative Satyam alone. It is not absolute. It comes and goes. So there is no bhavaha, means there is no permanence. Okay? Permanence, which means it is negatable. Like, we often give the example of the pot. Yeah. Now, the pot is Satyam or Mithya? Mithya. Pot is a product, right? The pot is a product. But the clay is its cause, Karana. Yeah. So clay is more real. Let's call it Satyam. Okay. Now, the pot, is it permanently going to be there? No. So when the pot is destroyed, clay remains. Clay is of course also not permanent, but let's take the example that the Karanam, clay continues, whereas the product, the pot, is there for few years maybe and then gone, merged back into the clay. So that is the meaning here, that Sataha na vidyate abhavaha, asataha na vidyate bhavaha. Okay. Just the two things, Atma Satyam. Atma Satyam is eternally there as Nitya-vastu. And Arjuna, you are that Satyam. And not only you, I am that Satyam. Duryodhana is also that Satyam. And Bhishma and Drona. And that Satyam can never perish. Yeah. And that is birthless, deathless, timeless, changeless. But the Anatma is a Satyam, but it is a relative Satyam. Now, can I say the pot is not there? No, it is there. But how long? Temporary. Yeah? That is called a relative Satyam, Mithya. So, that's the first line. Then, Ubhayoho api drishtaha antaha tvanayoho tattvadarshibhi. The tattvadarshis are the Panditas. Earlier, the Dhira Purushas, Panditas, Tattvadarshis, they know the truth of both. Yeah, Ubhayoho api drishtaha antaha. So the ultimate truth of Anatma, temporariness, the impermanence, and Atma, permanence, is known by the Jnanis. And hence what? Na anashochanti. They do not grieve ever. Yeah? They do not grieve ever because there is a firm understanding that what is anityam is subject to change and will perish. But what is nityam is eternally there. So should I not gain knowledge about the Nitya Vastu? Yeah. And that is the pursuit of Atma Jnanam or Brahma Vidya. Okay. Let's chant this verse once again. अविनाशी तु तद्विद्धि येन सर्वमिदं ततम् ओ सारी नासतो विद्यते भावः नाभावो विद्यते सतः उभयोरपि दृष्टोऽन्तः त्वनयोस्तत्त्वदर्शिभिः. Now, in the next verses, Krishna is going to talk more about the nature of Atma. Yeah? How the Atma cannot be cut or wet or dried or burnt. The 5 elements space anyway cannot touch the Atma. It cannot be touched and it is changeless and so on, the nature of the Atma. So that we will see in the next session. So now you see how the whole Gita wisdom, it is meant to remove the ignorance in the mind. The ignorance is causing what? Sorrow. Ignorance of Atma. Atma, ignorance of the realities. What is the reality of my body? What is the reality of the world? But who am I? The ones who gain the knowledge of both, the relative Satyam and the absolute Satyam, na anushocanti, can never grieve. So Krishna is only asking Arjuna to do what is to be done. For example, if a parent says, I don't want to bring up my child. I have no me time. It is too laborious, too time consuming. What will Krishna say? He will say, take care of your child. That's your immediate duty and not Atma Jnanam. Okay. And again, in the Grahastha stage, if somebody says there are too many loans and too many EMIs to pay and household tension, water problem, electricity problem, I am going to Rishikesh for sannyasa. Again, Krishna will say, sorry, sir, not allowed. So this is the inner Kurukshetra, how to deal with the conflict in our minds and how to have the titiksha and to insulate the mind with jnanam so that it paves the way for that moksha prapti in the end. Yeah. So one can learn through the Gita verses, this steady, balanced mind. Not to allow the external conditions upset me through the titiksha. And to understand that even though the whole world is spinning, it is actually spinning, right? And situations, but the real you neither arrives, nor departs, nor changes, nor moves. It was, is, and will. So I accept the change and fluctuations in the world, but at the same time, I have found stable core ground. That is the knowledge of Atma, Atma Jnanam. And such a one, Krishna says, alone is what Amritatvaya Kalpi is fit for gaining moksha. Yeah. And thus, Krishna, you can see, is strengthening Arjuna's mind, which is weakened by moha and raga, and elevating Arjuna's mind and expanding the mind. And we will see how through the 18 chapters, finally, the whole goal is going to be given by Krishna. That is Tat Tvam Asi. You are the whole, you are Ananda Sarupa Atma. Where is the question of grief? Yeah. It is like, when the sun rises by midday, do we see the moon and the stars? They all fade into insignificance. No? So Arjuna is so caught up with that immediate situation, he cannot see anything beyond that. So now Krishna is giving him the big picture. The big picture, and that is about the Ishvara's plan and the cosmic yajna. What is to be done is to be done, but at the same time, who you really are. And that is the Nitya-vastu Atma. Okay. Om Tat Sat. Om पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः हरिः ॐ श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः हरिः ॐ